When XDefiant was first revealed in 2021, gamers around the world released a massive collective groan. It's generally become a running joke at this point that Ubisoft will put the Tom Clancy name on just about anything, and this time around they were making a Tom Clancy branded hero-based shooter, clearly replicating Call of Duty's gameplay, all while being positioned as a competitive esports title. The old school fans of Ubisoft's Tom Clancy games were upset that the once prestigious IPs were being shoved into an arcadey, twitchy looking FPS. And even other fans were saying that the game just looked like a COD clone using Ubisoft's IPs. Fast forward to 2023 and Ubisoft has rebranded the game as a Ubisoft Originals title, dropping the Tom Clancy badge entirely. Then they finally released a closed beta that players could get their hands on, and now some people are even calling the game a COD killer. I've been playing it a bit, and today I'll break down what it offers and what to expect if you check it out for yourself. The nuts and bolts of XDefiant are pretty easy to wrap your head around. It's basically a free-to-play COD-style FPS with Ubisoft's Tom Clancy characters and factions influencing the visual style and abilities. It's also running on the Snowdrop engine, the same one that Ubisoft Massive used for the Division games. However, this time Ubisoft San Francisco is developing the game and it's being built from the ground up for competitive play. So you should be expecting decent visuals and high frame rates on most modern PC hardware. Plus, it's also available on Xbox and PlayStation consoles with cross-play enabled. Now, during my play session, there were some FPS hiccups here and there, but the game generally ran fine, even on the higher settings. It also looks pretty decent, featuring a vibrant color palette and environments clearly designed around a more esportsy aesthetic. And each of XDefiant's available classes represent a different faction from Ubisoft's Tom Clancy franchises. There's the Cleaners from the Division, Phantoms from Ghost Recon, Libertad from Far Cry 6, Echelon of Splinter Cell, and DedSec from Watch Dogs. Each class has unique abilities themed around their respective franchises with different appearance options. The Cleaners get an incinerator drone, firebomb, and incendiary rounds for their weapons. The Phantoms get a barrier that blocks bullets and grenades, a riot shield, a passive health buff, and an ultimate that gives you an AoE shield and high-powered shotgun. Libertad have a health booster that improves regen while giving you and nearby friendlies bonus HP. They get a throwable canister that heals friends, and an ultimate that gives you a huge health boost and a healing boost. Now, Echelon has proven to be one of the most effective classes in my opinion, with a digital ghillie suit that makes you pretty much totally invisible, a sonar that reveals enemies to your teammates, and a passive that prevents you from appearing on the minimap at all times. And their ultimate gives you a wall hack and a supercharged 5.7 pistol. Now, when picking your class, you choose between one of two active abilities. So for Echelon, that's either active cloaks or sonar. It does add a little variety to the class selection, but at the moment, certain abilities just seem to be the obvious choice. In general, though, the devs do seem aware of the beta's balance issues and have plans to address them. They've also clarified that the game is running on older network code that has been replaced for future betas and the full launch, but to say that the netcode is rough in the closed beta would be an understatement. This is one of the most consistently frustrating aspects of the game. Desync, getting shot around corners, wonky TTK and TTD, and all the other hallmarks of a game that needs some serious TLC for its netcode. Now, if they've already improved things for future builds of the game, then that's great. I just hope that they improve things substantially, because in the current state, it's not even close to where it needs to be for competitive or casual play. Now, the closed beta features 4 modes: Escort, Zone Control, Domination, and Occupy. They're all pretty self-explanatory and familiar game modes. In Escort, you need to stand near an indestructible robot that claws its way to the enemy base. The only way to win is by making it all the way. Zone Control is a lot like Battlefield's Breakthrough mode. It's played on Escort maps divided into sectors with 2 objectives each. Capturing each objective moves you permanently closer to the defender's base. Domination is, well, domination. 3 flags, smaller maps, and 10 minutes to reach the score limit or rack up the most capture points. Occupy is basically hardpoint, a single objective that moves to random locations on the map, and you can only score by capturing it. Now, the maps are your traditional 3-lane designs with a central large route for constant conflict and flanking routes on either side with various ins and outs to the central point. This is a tried and true formula that has worked on many games and one that COD has perfected. Now, in total, the game features 10 6v6 maps and 4 escort/zone control maps, with I believe 14 total maps planned for launch. And I haven't had the chance to play extensively on all of the maps, as there's a decent amount, but they do feel competently designed in general. Certainly stylistically weird in the sense that they're trying to incorporate many different IPs, some of which are a bit more cartoony than others, so that cartoony style has kind of found its way into most of the maps, whether you like it or not. Now, in-game loadouts are divided into 3 sections. You get a primary, a secondary, and a device. All of the guns are based on real-world weapons, such as the M4A1, the MP7, and the M60, and you get 5 attachment slots for your primary weapons and 4 for the secondaries. However, there are 7 different attachment types, leaving you with 2 attachment slots that are always going to have to be empty. These are divided up into a slot for your muzzle, barrel, rail, optics, magazine, rear grip, and stock. And you can equip any combination of those 5 that you want. And the attachment stats in the UI provide a little bit more info on how they affect your weapon with actual percentage points, which is kind of nice for a change. Now, the device slot includes 4 different grenades and a proximity mine option, and all of the grenades seem to have comically large hitboxes at the moment, so don't expect them to clear obstacles predictably. I had grenades that would bounce back at me, even though it looked like they would go well over my cover multiple times, or it could have been some weird netcode related thing, I'm not sure, but they were just kind of wonky. Now, when it comes to actually calling XDefiant a COD killer, well, I don't think it's necessarily just a catchy headline. This game has been positioned from day one as pretty much an answer to the fatigue that many COD players feel over the aging franchise's reliance on skill-based matchmaking, lack of innovation, and kill streak spam. In fact, the skill-based matchmaking concern has been a key talking point for the game's executive producer, Mark Rubin, on Twitter. He was formerly at Infinity Ward making Call of Duty games and felt that skill-based matchmaking had been pushed on the developers from the management team. He insisted on XDefiant avoiding skill-based matchmaking outside of the ranked experiences, and much of his commentary on the matter has been in direct response to COD players expressing frustration over skill-based matchmaking. Now, according to the game's official Twitter, XDefiant prioritizes pings and overall team balance in casual modes, so you should always be playing against players with comparable latency in lobbies, and hopefully teams that aren't dramatically one-sided or absolute sweatfest. Now, obviously the ranked mode will use skill-based matchmaking, since that's kind of the whole point of having a ranked mode, and this sort of split seems like something that COD fans have been waiting for several years. Now, XDefiant also seems to be going after more of a classic COD 4 feeling when it comes to the gunplay and movement, a potential sweet spot of the genre, which many players have been praising. But possibly the biggest thing that XDefiant has going for it is the free-to-play angle. PC, Xbox, PlayStation with crossplay, and it's not injecting kill streaks or extremely cheesy mechanics that feel unfair or repetitive and annoying. It's a game taking the gunplay first approach, and ultimately I think it's a dangerous formula, and Activision should be concerned. The base game of COD could take a massive hit from XDefiant. COD titles have generally become extremely large and bloated and heavily recycled in many aspects, and this game is a direct attack on one of its foundations, and it may be a very competent one. Stylistically though, the game may not be for everyone. It's sort of like COD with a smidge of Fortnite thrown in there, and I'm not really sure that that's the right approach for this game, but then again, who knows. The cartoony presentation does give the devs a little freedom with their level design, and it helps with things like player visibility and a more engaging color palette. But what do you guys think? Should Activision be scared, or is XDefiant what it looked like from its announcement? A soulless marketing ploy to squeeze even more money out of the Tom Clancy properties? Let me know in the comments, and next up, check out this video on a new AI anti-cheat that may literally end cheating in video games. As always, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.